Hello, everybody, and welcome to Toku Portal Podcast. I am Rai, and with me is.
Decade.
And the little king.
And today we're talking about episode 22 of LupinRanger versus PatoRanger. So before Noel hands over the piece that he got from the last episode to Kogure, he wants to have a chat with him. He basically asks for a piece from the book in exchange for the one he's holding. Kind of looks like a submarine. And Kogure agrees.
So let's just talk about this now. We all thought that was going to be part of his mech, didn't we?
Not necessarily, because it looked like a submarine and his mechs are trains. I will admit it was a strong possibility, but that wasn't exactly the first thought that crossed my mind, if I'm going to be honest.
But the fact that he didn't use it is interesting. What's it for? Or,
It looks to me like he still has to modify it.
I was about to
And
say
then,
that it didn't
yeah.
have a trigger on it, did it?
I don't
Or
think it had a
dial.
dial either, yeah.
So we shall see.
Interesting.
Yep, that's good foreshadowing. So the Genglar Demaran has a gift for Dogranio. We don't really see what's inside the gift, but Gosh wants them instead. And yeah, Dogranio just tells him to get more. Noel and the police officers, the global police officers, enter Jurere. Toma pretends that they haven't met, and Kaidi recalls him from, his publicity stunt in the park.
Where he got
The
arrested.
police ask, yeah, the police ask him to keep Noel's double identity as a thief and police a secret, and Umika tries to play along as well. Noel couldn't be more excited when Sakuya tells him that he's falling for Umika. He loves relationships. And then we get the opening. Thoughts?
Okay, I'm just going to get this out of the way now, because it is very heavy with it. Zero, if you're listening, I apologize in advance. But those of you who know me on this podcast know I am a shipper. Not to a strong degree, but the point stands. So the fact that this dude, also being from Paris, is a heavy shipper in meta makes me love him that much more. And to see him actually capitalize on the one relationship this show has been trying to push since, I want to say, the third episode,
Yes.
just makes my day, and I love it so much. So thank you, writers, and thank you, Noel.
Yeah, it was smart of Kyrie to point out that he saw Noel get arrested. Like, yeah, I met him before. And then Noel, like, just getting all mushy was great. He's got a soft spot for romance, it seems. I like it.
Yep, same. So then we get the episode title, number 22, Love is an Indispensable Part of Life. The police leave, but Noel stays behind. Sakuya notices his phone is missing and runs back to Jurere. Noel acts surprised to find Sakuya's phone and tells Umika to return it to him to the customer, and she gladly runs off. He tells the other thieves that he's playing Cupid. Wonderful. If only the fans could play Cupid as well.
You have no idea.
Yeah, this is a fun episode. Umika returns the phone out of breath. Sakuya thanks her. Before she leaves, Sakuya asks her out again. He'd be fine with tea, a movie, going to an amusement park, or just going for a walk and talking. He just wants to spend more time with her. Pretty sweet. He's definitely becoming more sincere from the kind of nonchalant playboy we saw earlier in the series. But before she can answer, Sakuya pretty much tells her that she can answer whenever and just takes off. Thoughts?
One of the few reasons I love Pat Ranger, besides Keiichiro, is its characters, because they have started to grow on me so much. And actually, I'll take that back. Even Keiichiro started to grow on me. Like you said, Decade, the fact that Sakuya is starting to become a lot more sincere in his advances, and I love that he's being much more open. Like, he's giving her the choice. It's like, this is what I want to do. Whatever it is you feel comfortable doing, I'm happy with as long as I get to spend time with you and get to know you better as a person. That speaks volumes in terms of this is more than just a childhood crush. I legitimately want to get to know you and respect you as a person before I start, talking more about romantical advances. That's amazing to me. And it's not nearly as, obvious as maybe Keiichiro starting to pick up on the thieves or maybe Tsukasa starting to warm up to them, or of course the thieves have. This is a much more subtle, development for a character, and I love that they're advancing this in that way. It doesn't have to be like, oh, this happened, so now this happened in that one episode, so now he's, learning from that. No, he's legitimately growing as a character over time, and it's not out in the open. Until now, of course, but I love that they're doing this. And Noelle is making it even better. Yay! It's so nice to see good writing in that way.
I agree. When Sakuya started showing interest in her, he even admitted that he just thought she was a pretty face. It was nothing more than like a crush. And now he's actually like, I want to get to know you better. I think that like I actually want to. He doesn't just want to spend time with a pretty girl. He wants to know her. And silly me thinking that Noel was staying behind to have a secret meeting with the thieves. Nah, he was just instigating a conversation between the two future lovebirds.
Yeah, that was a great twist. Um, so let's see. Yeah, Demaran attacks a nearby couple and turns them into goldfish, and then puts them in his little fishbowl. Sakuya Keisatsu changes from afar. Umika is unable to change because that'd reveal her identity and gets turned into a goldfish and thrown inside the fishbowl. Umika considers Kaito changing inside, but she's recognized by a familiar face, Saito, who's from, I guess, a nearby bakery.
Basically a neighbor.
Yeah. Demaran uses the fishbowl as a shield, causing Nigo to hesitate, and of course he wails on him, and then he retreats into the water. Sakuya sincerely apologizes to the thieves. Noelle apologizes as well, because it's kind of his fault that she went after Sakuya. Let's see. Oh yeah, and then Noelle clenches his fist. So it looks like he really does care about the thieves and the police, and he wants to do what's right, even though he might have some ulterior motive. What did you guys think?
Yeah, motives or not, since, once again, sincerity is such a rare thing to see when subtlety is involved. And to see both Noelle and Sakuya show so much, they're genuinely upset about this, and they want to make this right, for different reasons, yes, but still. Oh my god, I just loved it. And, the monster was once again one of the lesser of the well thought out villains, but it was a it was an easier way to put Omika in that scenario, I will admit. And monster using hostages as a shield. When won't they really? So I mean, yes, the monster was a bit of a downer, but again, the characters more than made up for it, in my opinion.
Umika got pretty lucky that Sakuya didn't hesitate to transform like she did. Also, good on her for getting ready to fight the monster by herself. With her being kind of the child of the group, you would expect her to try and call the others first, but here she was ready to go at it alone and try to take the treasure. And yeah, it's great to see Sakuya apologize to the other workers at Juror, because if it he feels responsible for not being able to save her, and Noelle, of course, didn't mean for her to get captured. She wouldn't have been out there alone if it wasn't for him, like, setting that whole setup.
So the police split up and kind of wait for Demeron to show up. Um, yeah, Umika still can't Kaito change, though revealing her identity. Uh, while Saki is kind of waiting alone, he swears to save Umika and the others. And then Noel arrives. He wants to help Sakuya and explains why, but Sakuya still blames himself. But he's not really depressed. He's still determined to save the day. Noel is impressed and calls Sakuya a good person. Sakuya has heard that line before when he gets dumped by a girl. Poor Sakuya. Well, he probably deserved it. But yeah, then the Gangler arrives. The two Keisatsu change and roll call. Nigo turns himself into a goldfish and enters the fishbowl. After returning to normal, he fails to break through with his blaster. Lupin Red and Blue arrive. Patron X joins Nigo inside the bowl, and they break out. Omega is saved. Nigo takes the citizens to safety. The thieves steal Demeron's collection piece. Striker joins Lupin Red to summon the two clones. That's a fun fight. And then, yeah, we just get a beautiful combination of finishers, and the Ganglar gets destroyed. Thoughts?
I don't have much to say on the fights, but I mean, for the most part, I had a lot of fun with them as per usual. And one thing I think a lot of Sentai tropes have a problem with is the classic beating yourself up trope. The one where they constantly blame themselves for the scenario and, end of the day, they get their resolve back, they fix everything, so on and so forth. But I like that they're avoiding it this time. Like, Sakuya knows that, despite, Noelle saying that if I hadn't done it, this would happen, he still blames himself, yes, but he's not berating himself. He's like, yeah, I know what I did. I screwed up. I'm going to fix it. Thank you for helping me. Now let's get to it already. I love that. And, I mean, I know that the PatoRangers, both meta and in the community, aren't exactly the most popular of the two teams. But where the LupinRangers shine in a lot of ways, the PatoRangers have their sides too. And again, Sakuya and Noelle are expressing that beautifully, just like they're avoiding tropes. They're openly showing like genuine emotion in their methods and the way they talk, their everything. And it's very subtle, but I really enjoyed this. And yes, I know I'm starting to sound like a broken record again, but I just can't help it.
You do make a good point. I had noticed that they weren't actually like berating themselves because why would they? They know they messed up. They don't need to keep reminding themselves out loud about it. They just need to do something about it. Regardless of how they're feeling on the inside, they need to know what they're doing on the outside. as for the fight, it was a very flashy fight, but that's really all that can be said about it. Not a bad one per se, just, kind of like a let's get to the point kind of one.
Yeah, this Ganglar doesn't put up much of a fight. Um, so let's see. Gosh revives him, of course. Lupin X asks Red and Blue. Oh
Oh,
no, I guess
wait,
he's
first
PatoRanger
though,
next. Yeah,
with Umika, like, almost considering transforming in front of Sakuya just to help him. I have to say, the fact that she was actually considering it shows a bit about her character as well. It was a desperate situation, but she was willing to give up her identity just to protect those people. The collection piece, irrelevant. Her wish, irrelevant. But saving the people in front of her.
yeah, that was a good moment for her.
Maybe age doesn't always equal naivete.
Yeah, she definitely has her mature moments. So yeah, Patron X asks Red and Blue to summon the thunder and fire vehicles, the train ones that we've seen. They agree. X trains Silver. X Gathais into X Emperor Slash. It's a pretty crazy Gathai sequence, but it's pretty cool, I think. Uh, Dogrania sends Destra to help, and Destra just summons a golem. The mech flips, turning into X Emperor Gunner. He defeats the golem, and then he defeats Demiran with X Emperor Slash. So yeah, does a somersault to change forms. Well, and his head pops off and reattaches. Pretty crazy. What do you guys think about the mech?
Oh boy. Okay. One thing I love about X's design is his flip mechanic. Like, of course, the Lupin Rangers and the Pat Rangers sort of have that, but I just love the idea of him just swapping forms just by flipping it. It kind of reminded me a bit of X8 in its weapon designs, only on a much bigger scale, of course. And to see the Megazord carry that through, for one thing, props to the suit actor, because that cannot be easy in that suit. And two, it was just so much fun. And there's a running joke that one of his forms dabbed. Whether go into that or not, that's up to you. I found that hilarious, and it just fit Noel perfectly if it was intended, in my opinion. But all in all, I just had so much fun.
I don't think that was a dab, because a dab you like hold the pose and he was more sliding into his actual pose. But regardless, the mech, my ultimate feelings are on it are that it's alright. I think I just need to see a bit more of it first. But I do love the flip mechanic. That is pretty good.
Yep. So Umika thanks Sakuya for saving her and calls him a good person before running off. Sakuya is distraught.
He got friend zoned
Noel.
super hard.
Oh yes.
Oh god.
Noel
Please.
can't comfort him and just runs away. Episode 8. Thoughts?
Oh, that poor boy. Oh man. But I have faith that he will get his resolve back soon enough.
Yeah.
I cannot say when though, because oh, that poor boy.
Next episode.
Oh, here's hoping. Oh, actually, we might not have time to, now that I think about it. But we'll get to that.
Uh, no, I pretty much said my fill for that. Sakuya got friend zoned.
Yeah. So, do you guys want to mention the next episode preview?
I don't remember it.
What
Oh,
parts? Wait. What parts?
I guess all of it.
Fair enough.
Okay, well, new
Um,
villains first. So, it looks like we're actually going to get like a faction of 3 Ganglars, I think. So that should be interesting for sure.
this gonna be fun. And oh boy, okay. I'm very curious about this one because Lupat's done a good job of making episodes that both are and are not filler at the same time. I don't know how they've managed to do that, but they have. And I'm pretty sure next week is going to be a good example of such because, like Decade said, we might be getting a freaking faction out of these three. And who knows, maybe they even know something about Zamigo. I'm hoping. I have nothing to go on for that, but I'm hoping. And yet, it also looks like a filler for Toma. Which, don't get me wrong, I'm glad he's getting the development if he is, but I'm curious to see how they hit that balance.
if it's a good character development episode, then I wouldn't call it filler. Excuse me. Uh,
Fair enough.
what's interesting is that one of the Ganglars is going to have another gold safe. So another general then? Perhaps they are another faction of Ganglar, but are they their own faction or are they just a subdivision working for Degranio? That's what I'm curious about.
Yeah, I have a feeling they're still working for DeGranio. They just figured teaming up to succeed him would be the best plan.
Oh yeah,
Because
you
clearly the Gangler have been getting wrecked going solo.
they make their personal leader like the new successor and they reap the benefits.
Monsters of the week that learn from other monsters' mistakes? Who'd bloody thunk it?
Yeah, we'll see. But I guess final thoughts for this episode. It was a fun one. Noel's definitely growing on me. His actor is great, and it's pretty unreal how many sides we see of him just in one episode. So yeah, I thought this was a good one.
I don't think I need to convince any of you that Noelle has easily become my favorite character in this show. Higher even than Kairi and freaking Hilltop. That is an achievement in my eyes. I am loving him, and Sakuya grew on me so much this episode. I'm much more looking forward to seeing the Pat Rangers now for him and, of course, Tsukasa. But I am very much looking forward to next week as well.
Good episode, even if it felt short. It was very character focused, which I liked. We got some good development for multiple characters, like some more subtle than others. Uh, and yeah, I look forward to seeing what new villains this new arc we're in brings. So, thank you for joining us tonight. We'll be back tomorrow with Kamen Rider Build, and next Tuesday for more Lupin Ranger versus PatoRanger. See you next time.
Thanks for listening.
Adieu, and later, taters.